methodology, which is connect, empower, and inspire. And the connect and empower, think of the connect phase as the emotional phase. The empower is the logical phase where you start making sense of things, right? And then the final phase, the inspire phase, is when the heart and mind kind of come together and they just meld, and that's what causes this kind of like catalytic reaction that causes this kind of leap. And that's why the inspire phase actually ties into work. It ties into work and it ties into action. It's because all these things build up, and then there's a spark. There's a spark to connect sometimes in the beginning as well, but there's a spark. Actually, here's the funny thing. The inspire phase has its spark itself. So when I act, it's creating me this kind of leap. So think of it again as like a wheel. So it's going around slowly. It's iterative. It's iterative. It's iterative, and then at the very end, when that inspire happens and all these things kind of come together, there's this leap of logic, and that impels you. Like you just have to act. And so you do act. Now here's the cool thing, is that spark that impels you to act is the same spark that connects somebody. So you're inspiring somebody else, so that starts the process in somebody else. So it's kind of like a viral process. And that's how...
Very nice.
Yeah, so that's how social leaders lead. They lead through example. They don't tell people what to do, right?
Very nice, actually, because I tried to come up with, my experience has been with kids in classrooms, adolescents, and okay, I never analyzed what I was doing because I was just doing it.
Yeah.
It's only subsequent that I tried to transpose it to adults. I actually had to start thinking about it. But then again, I still didn't analyze what I did. I just went, okay, there's the adult field, this is the environment now, and I just invented for it, effectively hoping that I was informed by my experience. So the things you're talking about there make sense, but I don't have this kind of sequential phase to it. It's very much iterative, as you're suggesting.
Realize they're not sequential, though.
That's right.
It is a cycle, think of it, but don't think of it as a cycle. And here's the thing, it's wheels within wheels within wheels, which is in my latest post on there, that it won't seem, even though I describe it in a sequential way, like a cycle, right, going around, so it goes around, but it's actually... Think of it this way, you have connect, empower, and inspiring happening on different levels. That's why, like when I talk about my connect, empower, inspire methodology, this isn't something that I'm just making up myself. The words are my own words in a sense, but even those aren't my own words because I keep seeing these words reiterated over and over again by different people. But realize that each one of those keywords represents multiple things. And if you go back to one of my older posts, I kind of show all these comparisons, like connecting is playing, right? The empowering is learning. It's the sense making. It's the connecting is also, think of it like the explorer. The empower, which is the sense making, that's the navigator. And the inspiring phase, which is the working kind of phase, that's the storyteller. There's all these aspects, and again, I'm just seeing all these patterns, and I'm just trying to articulate those patterns that I'm seeing. So I'm just kind of, they're not really coming from me so much. I'm just relaying what I'm seeing. Don't get me wrong. There are some certain things where they are my own interpretation of how I think certain things will go. But this, I'm just more or less communicating an emergence that's occurring.
Yeah, you're observing. You're marking on observations.
Yeah.
Very interesting. You're you're trying to deal with it very carefully, because unlike objects, when you can simply describe them and they remain inanimate, the point is you're describing an aspect of social engagement which you are participant in that are dynamic, and therefore our descriptions alter or are an integral part of what it is that we're actually doing. So it's kind of harder to be an observer. I know that when you're talking, you are inherently aware of that. I can tell that the way you're talking. So, but you are still trying to make the distinction that you are describing some aspects of social reality that doesn't seem to necessarily depend upon your own interpretation.
Yeah.
as opposed to when you actually wish your interpretation to actually influence, the thing that you're describing.
The key thing to realize though is that, and it's already been proven obviously, is that in the state of observing, you're actually interacting with it and doing it. So the thing that I'm realizing is that this methodology applies to not only people on an individual level, it applies to people on an organizational level. There's a universal, yeah, like when I say connect, empower, and inspire, I'm not talking about people just connecting with other people and empowering, inspiring them. I'm saying that the individual themselves, they are connecting with themselves, having a relationship with themselves. They are empowering themselves through the sense making of their life, which then inspires them to act. That action then creates the process, like I said, keeps the process going, that it's hitting somebody else, and it's the sparks that just keep sparking and sparking, right?
Very nice.
Yeah, so
Fractal at some point.
totally, it's totally fractal. It's the word I like using. It's just very natural. Like, and that's what I keep saying is we've had this culture before that was very machine-like. It was very unnatural, and we're now creating this. People are coming together and go, no, we want a more natural human way. And so I describe it as this natural culture.